Hey, 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 welcome to the Blackout live from New York with me, your host, Tasemere. How are you guys doing today? Happy Saturday. I wanted to just set the stage of what this segment is going to be about because I have so many different juicy topics to jump into with you guys today. But just so that way we're all on the same page, this podcast series is about celebrating Black folks across the diaspora and to have an open dialogue about Black economics, how we reimagine trends in business, and exploring the magic that we have. So today I have a couple of different topics that I wanted to jump into with you guys. Shaquille O'Neal's rejection of a $40 million sneaker deal with Reebok. What the heck is going on with that, right? And Hurricane Ida, we have to talk about that. How can we not? And then we're going to go into Joe Biden's selection of girls who co-CEO to discuss cybersecurity and a lot more. How are you guys doing this Saturday? I hope you are doing well. I wanted to just shout out Donnie Glover, of course, for allowing me to be on his network with my Blackout Live from New York segment. So let's jump into it. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen as I always do because I believe in transparency so you guys understand what resources I am looking at. So we all know that Hurricane Ida has hit the shores. I'm here in New York, and we definitely have experienced a lot of rain from this hurricane. We had different parts of the city actually flood, which was, I don't want to say new to us, but we haven't experienced that really since Hurricane Sandy. And although it wasn't as bad as Hurricane Sandy, some folks have had flooding in their homes. Some of their cars experienced flooding. Some people couldn't make it past big pools of water, and their cars were just roaming around on the highway. So there was a lot of stuff happening here in New York City and in New Jersey. So my prayers are with everyone that is dealing with some sort of after effects of the hurricane. And so I found this article that basically said that some people started just sharing their addresses on Twitter just in case they needed to be rescued. And this is something that I don't think we have really seen happen, but some people are saying that this hurricane was just as bad as Katrina. People out in New Orleans don't have electricity. I spoke with one of my colleagues and friends that lives there, and he's without electricity, although his home didn't flood. So definitely just wanted to, share this. Not sure if folks were aware of what was going on with the Twitter. But yes, just wanted to share that before we jump in. So now I wanted to jump into Shaquille O'Neal in this deal. Like, what the heck? So let me go back and share my screen so you guys can see it. Shaquille O'Neal reveals why he rejected a $40 million sneaker deal with Reebok. This, for some people, can be unheard of. Like, how do you reject that, right? And so in summary, he was basically like, I don't think that it's fair for kids to have to spend so much money on buying expensive shoes. Hold on one second. I'm being interrupted. Hold on one second. Yes, I'm on my podcast. What is it? I'm already up. Sorry for that, you guys. I was interrupted, but as I get back. So he was basically saying that it's not that people don't want to wear $20 or $30 shoes. They just don't want it to look like it costs $20. And so he goes into this article basically talking about how he decided to then, partner with Walmart and how he sold over 120 pairs of affordable shoes to kids for as little as $14.98. So I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Do you think that Shaquille O'Neal is right in his decision to try to make footwear a little bit more affordable, but also not losing sight on the fashion behind the footwear? What are you guys' thoughts? Do you think he was a complete idiot for walking away from the $40 million deal with Reebok? If some of you guys don't know, Shaquille O'Neal also has a degree in business. I forget from what school, is slipping my mind right now. I want to say it's a prestigious school, but I don't want to have my resources confused. But I know he definitely has a degree in business. He's definitely a business mogul. For sure, in how he structures his deals and deals that he decides to get into. But what are you guys' thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to jump into the next topic here, which is about Joe Biden's pick for cybersecurity and what the heck this means. So Joe Biden basically selects Girl Who Codes CEO to discuss cybersecurity. What does this mean for us, right? Does this mean that we finally have seats at this table? So if you guys aren't familiar, Girls Who Code is a nonprofit that is committed to helping girls become more intrigued and engaged with technology. And they basically teach girls, young girls, how to code, and how coding is also part of STEM, which I'm sure you guys have heard that term loosely. And so what does this mean when Joe Biden is tapping her to address cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is not a new phenomenon, but it's definitely something that we as a group of people should be paying a lot more attention to. I'm sure you probably have heard of different breaches. T-Mobile had a breach recently. I know that New York Sports Club had a breach where basically our data is being held at ransom. So what usually happens is that these trolls go around, they go into the dark net, and they go around and they basically can steal data from these big servers. And what they do is they hold it from ransom to another company. So they can say like, hey, I have all your company's important classified documentation, and in order for you to get it back, you have to pay us X amount of money. If the business doesn't have cybersecurity insurance, which is different from just regular business insurance, that can really tank their entire business, right? So when we think about a small shop owner, some people think like, hey, I don't really need to pay attention to this cybersecurity until it actually becomes something that's sitting at your doorstep. And I can speak to that from personal experience. When I worked at a nonprofit, we had a temporary worker there who basically clicked on this email that we all thought was spam, but she thought that it was a valid email because it came from an internal email address and it had this folder attached to it. So she clicked on it, and when she clicked on it, it basically wiped our entire share drive. And so we were trying to figure out like what happened to these documents. We knew these documents were just there the day before. We were totally confused about what was going on. We called our tech support and they were like, listen, you guys have been a victim of a security breach, and these folks are wanting some exorbitant amount of money that the nonprofit didn't have in order to even get some of the files back. So we had to go through the painful process of trying to piece back together this whole share drive, which I don't think we ever got the share drive back to how it was prior to her clicking on the file. So that's why cybersecurity is so important. It can happen to anyone. But besides that point, or in addition to that, Joe Biden is definitely tapping the CEO of Girls Who Code. Wanting to know what you guys' thoughts are about that. I'm going to pull that article up on the screen here. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is basically allowing us a seat at the table? Do you think that he's faking us out by having all of these folks that look like us, that we feel like we can relate to, making us think that his administration is down for Black folks and maybe something murky is happening in the background? Or do you guys think that he's really trying to put together an effort to close the gap and trying to represent America as how it looks to us? What do you guys think? I want to know. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. I'm more so interested in how this is going to move from a conversation into what else. What is going to happen from this? So he had her there. She probably shared her thoughts. Okay, so now what happens after that? Does that mean she's going to be part of the administration on cybersecurity? Does that mean that there's going to be more money dedicated to STEM? Just what does that mean for us? Really wanting to know you guys' thoughts. Definitely put that in the comments as we go into the next topic or article, which is about a coffee shop that I recently discovered. Recently meaning a few hours ago, that is offering therapy in his community. He's definitely in Chicago, and he definitely is trying to focus on mental health, and he has some way that he's giving back to his patrons on making their therapy sessions free. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the mental health industry as a whole? Good morning, Art. How are you? What do you guys think about people being more focused on mental health in a way that they weren't prior? And a lot of different companies and everyday people are trying to incorporate this into their business models. What do you guys think about it? I thought it was pretty cool. I'll put the article back up so we can explore it a little bit more. Here is the article. Here, the title of the article is basically "This Coffee Shop Pays for Free Therapy One Cup at a Time." The CEO is definitely someone who has struggled with some mental health issues in his personal life, and he's definitely trying to give back in this kind of way. So what do you guys think? Definitely let me know. I'm interested. This is a pretty short article, wasn't that much on it, but I definitely didn't even know that this existed. The name of the cafe is called Coffee, Hip Hop, and Mental Health. So he's definitely not hiding that it's about mental health. What do you guys think about that as we lead into the next topic, which is around Russell Simmons' daughter having a deal with Just Fab shoes. So her mom, definitely Russell Simmons' ex-wife, helped to start up this Just Fab shoe phenomenon that most people know about. It's basically an online platform for you to go on there, buy very fashion forward shoes at very reasonably priced. They also have a membership where you can pay and get free shoes every month or something like that. I used to be a part of it. That's why I know so much. But now she has her own deal with Just Fab. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that this is what legacy wealth looks like? Like you get something and you're able to put your children onto it and create this ecosystem of wealth generation and wealth, closing the wealth gap. And what do you think about that? How do you guys think we can do that in our own seats where we are? You know, we don't have as much money as Russell Simmons. However, there might be things and ways in which we can move to basically enhance our economic stakes in our communities for our children, our family members, our friends, whomever. What do you guys think about that? I thought that was pretty neat, crafty, so to speak. Would love to be able to do something like that in the future for my children. Definitely want to be able to figure out how to set them up for success. If you guys are just tuning in, want to give you a recap of what we have already explored, and what this whole segment is about is about celebrating Black folks across the diaspora, and to have an open dialogue about Black economics, how we reimagine trends of business, and exploring the magic that we have. Today we discussed Shaquille O'Neal's rejection of a $40 million sneaker deal. That was super dope. I think he's super brave for doing that. Not sure if I would have been able to walk away from $40 million, but glad he was able to do that. He basically walked away and started a deal with Walmart, selling sneakers for as low as $15, and sold a lot of sneakers. We went into talking about Hurricane Ida and how folks were going on Twitter sharing their addresses just in case they were lost in this hurricane that was very disastrous. We then talked about Joe Biden's pick for just having a discussion around cybersecurity and what the heck does that mean. So now we're talking and leading into Harvard getting beat by some inmates in New York City. What do you guys think about this? I was so intrigued to learn more. So basically, the showdown took place at the Eastern Correctional Facility in New York, which is a maximum security prison. That means that these guys are like in there for some really heinous crimes, right? However, they had been coached by a faculty member from a local college that was nearby. And they went up against this Ivy League school, which most people know is the cream of the cream of the crop, however you want to say it, which is Harvard University, and they beat them in a debate. What do you guys think about that? I was blown away when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they can take this and move this into another arena of their lives while they're there. But what do you guys think about it? How do you think that can basically spark into something else for them? Do you think that now more debate teams will be cropping up and popping up in different prison systems? Is this a new program maybe that they're testing out? Is this going to be part of something that prisons do or correctional facilities do more often? Just really interested in knowing you guys' thoughts. I'm going to go back to that article. I believe you, and I agree with you that more Black people need to invest in their mental health. I totally agree with that. I feel like that's something that we are just now understanding, that it's okay to not be okay. And I think that we have for such a long time, and part of our just history of being Black folks, have been told that you need to hide your feelings. And sometimes that's really difficult. And sometimes it eats you on the inside. And so I'm glad that we're starting to reach out for help, that we're looking for therapists, that we're using different languages instead of being angry all the time, that we're learning words like I'm sad, which seems very basic, but most of the time when people are very angry and very toxic, they're really sad people at the core, and just knowing how to say that I'm sad instead of cursing someone out. Although sometimes a good curse out is necessary, but not all the time. I think that that's something that we need to get back to, and I'm super proud of that gentleman out in Chicago who is using his coffee shop to, just put mental health on the map and trying to figure out how he's going to get back. That is basically our recap for today. This is Tasemere, your host with Live from New York with the Blackout. I hope to see you guys here on Saturday. I'm here every Saturday at 10 o'clock. Sometimes my segments go a little bit over. Sometimes my segments are a little short. I'm in that 15 to 20 minutes. So just tune in with me here as we discuss some topics and go into really the economics of how we can basically create a better foundation for ourselves, our generations across the diaspora. It's really interesting to think about what other folks are doing, not just where we geographically are, right? I'm here in New York, but I'm really interested in knowing what people are doing across the country. There's dope stuff happening in Baltimore, which Donnie is always telling me about, but also what's happening in the Midwest, what's happening in the South, outside of just music and entertainment. I think we get bombarded with those things often, but also wanting to just be present and in the moment about what else is happening and then what's happening in other countries. So definitely check me out. I'll be back here next week, Saturday at 10 a.m. Ciao.